Hello again, sweet listeners. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Stories Station podcast. I'm your host, Kay McCoy, and today's featured guest is the lovely EA Anders. So, thank you again so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so as you all know, we are here to talk about obviously Author Nation, Reader Nation. This is their first ever romance anthology, Love Me in Vegas. And again, this is a multi author event. Like, this is huge. There's, I think, 25 of us, 30 of us in this anthology. Is that right?
30, I think they said. Yep.
Yeah. So we are here to talk about that as well as all of her other future works. And so I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello. I'm Leandra, write romantasy. My series is the Earthen Calamities. It's set in our world after a magical event destroyed everything. And then the series is set after about 200 years later. Things have reshuffled around. Humans are an endangered species. And it has spicy times and finding love, finding light in the darkness. And the story in the anthology is about some of the two side characters, Frody and Hertha, who are from the first book, Blood on the Taiga. So,
Well, that was the best segue I could ever think of to
okay.
our next So, speaking of the anthology, I would love to know more about this story, an axe and a proposal fair, because the tropes are troping, and I want to know what we can expect from this read.
Well, it is. They are so kind of with the premise of the world. I wanted to the Earth and Calamities is kind of every myth, legend, gods, monsters, everything became real at the same moment. So, like, literally everything is on deck. So you can find any creature, legend, folklore, anything in the world. And it's been 200 years. So things have kind of mixed together,
Mhm.
off and on. So you can, anything's kind of on the table. But these are the berserkers from Norse legend are
Mhm.
what's this. So the clans have kind of, because humans are endangered and nearly extinct, there's magical laws in place to enforce protections to try to keep humans from going extinct. Because since humans came up with all the legends and myths, right? No
Yeah.
one knows what happens if humans go extinct. If the dreamers die, do all the magical creatures go away? So,
That
the magical
poses a
creatures are
really
kind
good
of,
question. What
yeah,
what happens to the dream when the dreamers die?
right?
I love that. Now
So,
I have to talk about my favorite trope out of all of this.
yeah,
He falls first.
yeah, he
What can
did.
you tell us about this main male character? Because that right there, I'm already like trying not to like squeal.
That's your jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. So he's the youngest of three brothers. Um,
Hmm.
and this is between the Berserker clans. It's one daughter, and then his older twin brothers are coming to. Oh my God, my frogs are starting to talk. So if you can hear that, do you hear them?
They're rejoicing. They
Yeah,
like where the
they're like,
story is
yes, he
going.
falls first. And that's the male frogs that do the croaking. So they're into this.
See, look at that. I learned a little bit. There's
Yeah,
educational and some romance story
right.
going on here. Thank you.
Ridiculous. They're ridiculous. So, so
I've never really heard that before. And I'm from Florida and I've never really listened to frogs croak before.
these are Australian white tree frogs. So they're a little bigger probably than the little ones you have in Florida.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, gentlemen. So he's there kind of to like Frody, the younger brother, is there to like kind of just be part of the negotiations and seeing this arranged marriage through. He's not considered for it, and the woman Hertha from the other tribe is a little unhappy because she was promised that she would have a choice in who she married when she was ready, and
Mhm.
given circumstances, the things are going ahead, and she's given the choice of you can choose what brother, but you're getting married now.
It's like
So,
we gave you the illusion of choice.
mhm.
But
so
either way,
she's
you're getting married
yeah, so
to someone
she's
from this family.
yeah, and she's upset and she's missing from the negotiation tables.
Mm-hmm.
And Frody is kind of like, he doesn't like how this is all going down, and he doesn't like he's kind of the Joker. He doesn't really want to be part of all of this stuff. So he's like, I'm going to go for a patrol just to get out of the stuffy room where they're all figuring out how do we deal with this wayward daughter. So he goes walking and he finds her, and she's chopping wood because she's angry. And this is like their first encounter. And he gets to see, you know, who is this girl beyond just this name that's supposed to become his sister-in-law once she chooses a brother.
Wow. I love this. I love where that's going. And like, I could just envision like the brothers all getting to meet her in various points and just kind of like, okay, who is she going to marry? Because yeah, she could say she wants to marry this one, but as the story progresses, we all know sometimes that's So thank you so much for telling us about your story again. I can't wait to read all these stories and Love Me in Vegas. And my next question is in regards to that. Like, what was it that drew you into this anthology? Because everyone has a reason for wanting to be in an anthology, but everyone's reason is a little different. So I would love to hear yours.
I was already going to Reader Nation. This is my second year. It's actually my third year. I went in 2003 when it was still Rave before they changed over.
Same.
Yeah, so and then I signed last year, and it was a lot of fun. So I was excited to go again. And then when they announced that they were doing this, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because then it's another reason, another way to give readers something cool. And I've never been part of a Kickstarter either. So all of it was just fun and exciting. And it was also a chance to write another little piece of my world in a different way, because I've done 2 novellas and I've done 3 novels so far, but I haven't done a short story set in this world yet. So I thought about it for a little bit, and then this idea came up because these 2 characters in the novels, they're in their like late 60s. So the idea came to like, well, what were they like when they met? Because, you know, Frody's still a joker, you know, and Hearth is very serious. And I was like, well, what were they like when they met? And it just kind of,
like, were they always like this?
Yeah.
Or did they grow into this?
Yeah. So it was fun to explore that idea. And then it was like, I could, you know, there's always fun for a chance to write another steamy scene. So
I'm a fellow steamy it. Like I love writing steamy scenes. And I live for finding an opportunity to write a steamy scene. Like just hint at it even. Just hint at a steamy scene. It's like, oh, okay, that's enough to wake me up in the morning.
Yes. And when I feel like when you're writing like my romantasy is like I do like high steam scenes, but I don't usually end up having a lot of them in the book.
Yes.
So it's like I was like, oh, excuse to write a scene. Yes.
You're the author that writes like 5 or 6 steamy scenes, and then only 2 of them may make it in the book.
I don't even get to really write them all. My first book, I make you write. Like my first book's a slow burn. So I was
that danger
a little bit of trouble for that one with some.
So you cause bang anxiety.
Not on purpose.
Writing that down. Actually, no. Alexandra House was the first author I heard use that term, and I was just like, "My God, that's perfect." I love it. I love it so much because now on the story stations, we have like a meter, like a smooch kind of meter. So when you say you write steam, like what is that from a rating from 1 smooch to 5 smooches? Like what would you say your scenes air on? Is it like 2.5 smooches or 4?
Okay, so you have to help me out here because I feel like when I first started out, I've spent a lot of time reading a lot of romance over the last couple of years since I really was like, okay, this is romantasy. And I need to like really understand the romance genre.
There's certain beats involved in romance. And it's like, if you don't get them, your story can be good, but people will argue whether or not it's romance.
Yeah. And then the idea of like, understanding the tropes and what people look for and how to label the tropes properly. So when I'm like pitching my book to readers, they know that I'm get what tropes are in my book, so I can give that to them.
Between you and I, and obviously the internet, I still don't really label my story. I just put it out there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let my betas tell me, because I've gotten in trouble.
Oh yeah,
I've gotten in trouble once or twice about that. It's like, this is a romance, and I'm like, what do you mean? They're in love, and they're like, that's not romance. I'm like, okay, the tribe has spoken, and this is not romance.
Yeah. Well, see, I was worried I was going to step in it with the first book, because I was like, okay, this is like I was worried, like, label it higher spice versus label it lower spice, and then people be like this is like I didn't sign up for porn, you know.
And then you have some people like hand holding. That's not spice.
But it's like full open door, very descriptive language. Like I have a very like, I mean, especially the first book, it's very descriptive, but it's not dark romance, which I feel like a lot of times like
there is a difference, because dark romance, those
like
those
you
are
get in
those
like
are some
the 5 reserved for that, because if you're not getting into kinks, if you're not getting into like
but they're not holding hands. They're not only hinting or thinking about it. They're actually doing the thing.
No, it's full open door. It's descriptive language.
That's all the different
word choices some people might find questionable. You know, but it's not. Like,
I once had a reader tell me I write like filthy poetic corn, and I just said, I'm putting that on everything now.
Filthy poetic corn here. Yeah, I like it. That's a high compliment. Like, I'm like,
it really was like a new reader, someone who doesn't know me at all, like a complete stranger, and I'm like, I'll take it.
Put it on my bumper.
Yeah, I wanted to make bumper stickers.
Yeah. So I guess I would. But then I was told that I should be more like a 3, because I don't have, because the first book only had, like, there were 2 spicy scenes, and one was not between the love interests.
Oh,
so I was told that drops the spicy rating, because volume of spicy scenes matters when you're rating your smoocher pepper scale. And I was like, okay.
So the spicy committee convened and told you, well, due to this.
But there's a spicy committee here that has different opinions of the spicy committee here. And it's like,
it's too much.
It's not a, I don't think the scale is universal, I guess.
Exactly. The scale is like women shopping. When you go shopping for clothes, that's what the scale is like. You might go to
it's like sizes on the internet.
It really is.
All right. Well, somewhere between a 3 and a 4.
Yeah.
That's somewhere between a 3 and a 4.
Somewhere between, a 3 and a 4. And then the average size is apparently this, but here I'm just, size.
Slightly above average, but
really different, which is why I'm really glad that Reader Nation had their own spice scale. It's like, thank goodness, because I don't want to. I don't want someone saying, "Well, this should be here."
How they wanted to, I was like,
but and they had to do that way, because again, this has all levels of romance, all genres, so there had to be like a spice rack involved.
Yeah. Spice rack. Nice. This is the thing. Oh my God. When I was there in 2003, I was talking to I can't remember who it was. I was talking to a romance author, and I was like, is it a cinnamon bun? And she's just looking at me, and I'm like, okay, I've got to learn. I've got to learn the names of these things, because I was like, I'm an idiot. I sound
you're
like
not an idiot. You're just not.
I got to learn the vernacular.
Lingo.
Yeah.
I would never say you're an idiot. I would never say anyone's an idiot. Honestly, it's just me. But the lingo is difficult to grasp, because we live in our own little worlds where we write our own little stories, and then we come out into the big pond, and they're like, "Well, we don't say that." Like, well, what language do you prefer? Because I can be quite filthy.
Yeah, yeah. But it is funny. Like once you start getting into it and start like I was like I had Isabella's the one who is like coordinating all the stuff for it, and she put
Mhm.
it when she gave me my card I was like, oh, I think mine is a reverse grumpy sunshine because
Mhm.
he's the sunshine and she's the grumpy, and usually it's the other way around. I know that now because I've
Like
been
I
doing
learned.
I learned my things. Aha.
And the thing is, I study those, but I don't always apply them. I just write what I feel like writing, and then I have this saying that I use, and it's like continue reading, continue writing, continue loving the process. Part of
Yeah,
loving the process is trusting the process when I release it into the world, because
yeah.
I know someone is going to tell me what it is, and then the romance committee, council, what have you, is going to get together and they're going to convene, and then
Some
they're going
point,
to tell
yeah.
me.
Yeah, some of my best stuff, like my first book, I will bow down on the and worship on the ground of one of my beta readers who said my first book. She gave me my pull quote that I will use until the day I die, which is "The Witcher meets Legends and Lattes, but spicier." And I was like, I will love you for the rest of my life.
That,
Like
yeah,
that
that'll
is
do
the
it.
best quote ever. And I would have never come up with it. We have so much trouble like finding that stuff for ourselves. So you
Mhm.
yeah, you do need those first people, and then you just are like, let me have that.
Isn't it interesting how
Yeah.
we can write thousands and thousands of words, but then when it's time to give someone a soundbite, we are just like error 404. Like we not.
But that's the point. We can write thousands and thousands of words. We need all those words to do it.
Yeah,
The skill
I
set
feel
is
like
not
dialect. It's like does
concise.
not
Is
compute.
not the skill set.
It really just it does not compute. I can't
Nope.
do it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
It's like I love it though. I love that again we write in the same romance, like but we have different subgenres,
Yeah.
but at the same time we both struggle.
Yeah. No, I'm the same though. I write it and then afterwards I'm like, oh, I guess this is this thing. I'll
Yeah,
figure out the things after the things.
after the thing. Like
After the
it's just
thing.
let me write the thing
Right?
and
Write
then
what
you
you
tell
love.
me
Yeah.
what the thing is.
Yeah. Not write what you know, write what you love. Write what
Yeah.
makes it fun, write what you enjoy.
Well,
Which
that brings me to
yeah.
my next question. What advice would you give someone who is starting off their writing journey or they want to participate in an anthology and they're not sure what to write?
Oh, yeah. Well, the biggest thing I found, especially with, and this I think applies a little bit to also like if you want to even I mean it applies for if you want to do traditional or indie, like if you want
Yeah.
to publish versus right with the anthology with
Mhm.
not just writing for yourself personally is like you have to enjoy it. Like you have to find a way that it's fun for you, that
You
it's
really do.
enjoyable, then that it stays that way, right? And I think
Mhm.
there's a couple things that are really important. And my book coach and I, Jocelyn Lindsay, do we talk about this in depth, which is like the writer, like people always talk about like life balance is so important, but I think writers forget that sometimes when they start and they set their goals and they're like, I'm going to write this
Mhm.
draft in 2 months, or I'm going to hit these goals of like 6 books a year or whatever, or
Mhm.
one book a year even. But you've
Mhm.
got to like, when you set those goalposts, you got to look at your life and the things in your life that are going on. Like for me, I have an 8-year-old who has like an IEP in school. He has therapy sessions he needs to go to. I have ADHD. I have a lot of stuff going on. And it's like, we break down what
Mhm.
my year looks like and what my 6 months look like. And we break down like what are the tough spots in school? What are the transition times that demand my time that take me away from writing? Like we look at that when we're planning out my writing goals for
Mhm.
the next 6 months. And like I leave room for like, I mean, I also am a chronic migraine person. So I calculated in that space. Like you have to look at the whole picture, not just
Yeah.
because if not, you're setting yourself up to not meet those goals. And then it stops being like a joy.
Mhm.
You're setting yourself up to fail at the thing you love.
You're setting
So
yourself up for a swan dive.
yeah, yeah. And then then you're disappointed and then it's not joyful.
Yeah.
Especially when you start adding goals like being part of an anthology where you have a deadline you need to meet because an anthology especially it's not just
Oh
you.
yeah.
There's 30 other people in this anthology.
Yeah.
If you commit to it and then you don't show up, you're letting those people down, or you're letting yourself down if you have to pull out when you wanted to be part of it. So
It
just
costs you money.
costs
That's another
money.
thing
Yeah.
people don't talk about with anthologies, but they really, we will in November.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for your presentation.
Thank you. But
So
yeah,
yeah.
it's so easy to romanticize the whole process, and it's like you also have to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take that much to step back and look at all those things and really think about them, like, and not just that, like, what are your family commitments, what's your other, because we have day jobs and
Mhm.
all those things, and financial restrictions and all those things, like, really lay them out and look at them,
Yeah.
and then decide, like, will it make you happy to, like, write to trends and write fast, or are you the type of writer that wants to spend a year and really perfect what you want to write, or like write a longer piece, a more artistic piece, a more whatever it takes. And if you write slower and you write slower for whatever reason, that's you and that's okay. And
Mhm.
like accepting all these things helps you enjoy the process once you realize this is your process.
Yeah.
And then it becomes more fun because you're not just lining yourself up. You're lining yourself up for goalposts you can reach instead of goalposts that you're going to fail at
Yes,
because
exactly.
you didn't.
That's the thing. You want to set yourself up for success, not failure. And
Yeah,
it's
and
to set
it
it high.
sounds simple, but
Mhm.
the idea of like I know I can write
Mhm.
2,500 words a day, but
Yeah.
it's like I can't do that if I have a bunch of other things
Mhm.
happening in that week that require my time and pull me away from my computer.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got to calculate those in when I'm laying out my can I do 20,000 words a week, like, so just think about that when you lay your stuff down so you continue to be joyous. And thank
Yeah.
you, Jocelyn Lindsay, for teaching me that, because part of my success is recognizing that life balance, writer balance, and putting the effort in to set that up when you make your goals makes all the difference in happiness and success.
It really does. It makes all the difference. Otherwise, all 30 of us wouldn't have been able to sit down and write. We had to make those decisions. I personally am a planner girly.
Mm-hmm.
I have dry erasers because, my 9 to 5 kind of calls for that. And I just combine the two and holy
Yeah.
matrimony. And that's how you keep things done. It's like
So romantic.
a way that works for you for keeping track of those things so that you can do the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So before we go, I want to ask one more question. I'm going to ask a few rapid fire things from there and then we will sign off. So,
Okay.
okay. Favorite writer's fuel?
Writer's fuel.
Mhm.
Oh, I would have to say right now I'm like addicted to those sweet tart ropes.
Ooh, those are good. A little
Yeah.
tangy, a little sweet.
Yeah, they're so good. Horrible for you,
Mm.
but they're good. They're tasty.
So, Hallmark or Lifetime?
Oh God. Oh, I'm a neither. I have to say.
Neither.
I'm
Okay.
a I'm a I'm a I'm like a I would do like my Kindle Unlimited before I would watch
Mhm.
the shows.
That are on either of those networks.
Yeah, yeah,
What
that's
about if
where I
it was
am.
one of your stories that was adapted to said channel?
I don't think they would fit either one.
Well, anyone want it anyway.
I know. I'm sorry.
All
Come on.
right. So, last one.
All right.
Share your socials. Where can people find you?
I am on Instagram and I am on Facebook. Instagram's my biggest one. I'm trying to learn how to use threads.
I seem to come from Facebook to Instagram. So, same.
Yeah. Most of my stuff like just kind of shares to Instagram. Or I mean from Instagram to Facebook. I'm set to like kind of
Just
always
makes it
even.
easier.
And then I'm trying to learn to use threads because everyone said there's a lot of like indie authors, bookstagrammers over on threads, and it's more like discussion
Yeah.
friendly.
Threads
So
is more like the elevated version of Instagram. And I'm like, do I want to add the app on my phone to find out? Not really.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get in there, and then trying to remember that you can share links on Threads. So I'll go say a post and go like, check this cool thing out, and then I won't leave a link, and then people on Threads are like complaining because people don't share links on Threads, and I'm like, well, Instagram tells you no, and I'm so used to Instagram telling me no that then I forget because I
Like,
go to Threads through my Instagram. I'm like, I mean, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough that I'm like, oh my God, it's another social media. And I'm
yeah,
trying so hard.
do it anymore.
I know. But my primary social is I use Instagram, and I'm E. Anders author on Instagram is where I post all my stuff, my updates about where I'll be local. I'm Pacific Northwest in Washington, so I post my signings and stuff there. But that's where most of my updates are, and then it'll cross over to Facebook. But Instagram's where I'm most active. So
Very cool. So, thank you again so much for meeting me today. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the Story Stations podcast. So, again, here is the story that E. Anders wrote, an axe and a proposal fair. I personally am excited about He Falls First, so I definitely will be diving into this story when I get the chance. And again, you can find this story over on Kickstarter for all of July. We are already fully funded. Yay! Now we have stretch goals coming up, and the first one is a really good one. So you guys definitely want to go ahead and check that out. Thank you again so much for listening. And as always, thank you for stopping by. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.